Dito na. Dito si Victor to. Dito. Ay, dito ba? Our Father. Oh, 7 stick money. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. The family of Channel President.
Parang siya hinihingal, no?
Paano walang leg?
Para sa Mrs. Ramos na lalandig. Hinihingal siya magsalita.
Sino ba yun?
Of course,
Peter Gordon.
grandsons and grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren. Senator President Soto, distinguished colleagues, she'll be back here again, although not in this word, but nonetheless, thank you very much. Yes, Royal, I did recognize you. It is a profound honor to be entrusted by the Enrique family to speak about a man of immense and undeniable historical significance, a giant of Philippine history. With the passing of Juan Ponce Enrique, our nation has lost a statesman of rare endurance and extensive experience, a sharp and disciplined mind, a Harvard-trained lawyer, a builder and breaker of eras, and a figure who left deep marks in the fabric of our national story. For more than 60 years, JPE stood at the very center of Philippine political life. Through the defining years of martial law, the restoration of democracy,
May marsil.
his long service in the Senate, and across generations of reform, upheaval, and renewal. They say that the world always steps aside to let any man
Malang-malang
pass
kung sila
who knows
dito.
where he's going. One portion leader of JP was such a man. He lifted himself by sheer grace. Through his memoir, we learned that having been born out of wedlock, he grew up enduring social discrimination. Classmates mocked him as a bastard. His own words. He thought, yes, I'm a bastard,
Sana inipo ko na lang to.
by accident. But you are all bastards by choice.
Asas?
He was born into deep poverty. He walked barefoot on the streets of Cagayan to stay in school. He worked as a houseboy for his aunts. And at only 17, when the war against the Japanese broke up, he joined the guerrilla resistance. He was captured and imprisoned by the Japanese as the Americans landed in later.
Ano yan?
After the war,
Paningin.
his father
Paningin ito. Paningin ito lang.
and an opportunity
Lima lang, lima.
Hindi na ako ng 6'9" eh.
Ah.
Apa na kon meron to?
Tres.
Yung ang tawag ko ng bag.
Kasi wala akong ano eh. Wala akong second o wala akong
Kulo, ay sabay pa kami. Oo, direct. Ang puluris lang kami. 3 to 3.
Teka muna,
I
kung
decided
tiyata.
to seek the help of the Secretary of Justice. He welcomed me with empathy, respect, and without condescension. He said, "Which community do you belong to?" Nagigilugin niya.
Ano tapos?
I said, "I'm in Ceremonial." I replied. He said, "I'm Muslim Morocco." He counted.
Ay, ano ba yan?
I said, "Do I belong to the oldest party?"
Nababaw naman yan.
Kung ka na yan,
And he answered, "Well, President Marcos is in Ceremonial, and he appointed me as one of his principal advisors." To which I replied, "But it took a brilliant of Ceremonial by President Marcos to
Yeah,
appoint a
Marcos.
brilliant similar one." There were no promises that day, only his instruction from the FBI to re-examine my college case. But before I left this office,
para na kami ang rilya ng
his
bangus.
words stayed with me. He said, "When you finish law school, come see me and join my
Ano
college."
yun?
I was wondering what it was all about. But I never forgot. I treasured it in fact. The simple invitation became the foundation of a friendship
Ay,
grounded
sorry.
not in politics, but in humanity and compassion.
Dapat pala dalawa
He
natin.
stood by me in moments that mattered. When my mother was unjustly arrested during martial law, naglalaro ng mga politikus sa Zambales, I ran to him.
Mambay?
He slammed his desk and said, "She was never under this," and I stressed that to them. That's pure politics. You know what he did? He made me work for it. He told me to go to Camp Olivas in Pampanga, literally in the lion's den, and confront the very formidable who was a cousin of Congressman Tony Magsaysay. Yes. I was accompanied of course by Senator Rangar, my insurance. But nonetheless, we got him out. We got my mother out after a not too pleasant argument. Then and there I knew he ensured
Sauce?
that he would never help you unless you help yourself, as he did in life. We are only those willing to fight for what was right. Hindi siya mapapagamit sa'yo. Kailangan ipaglaban mo yung kailangan mong paglaban. We did not always walk the same path. After the killing of my friend and schoolmate, relative named Emilio Javier, I told him frankly, as I told several allies then, including President Marcos, that I could no longer continue to support the administration. But I wasn't moving parties. He respected my honesty. Years later, when he was detained, I was among the first. We haven't had the picture in the front page. That wasn't the point. I was the first to visit him at the cell in Camp Canyon. Friendship, after all, is measured in adversity. And I was proud to do that. In 1980, when I became mayor of Olongapo, he honored me by coming all the way to Olongapo, and he administered the oath of office upon this representation as mayor of Olongapo. I was 35, he was 56. And that showed him to be great. Sharing a vision, many thought impossible. A deep water harbor transformed into a future free port. He right away understood his potential.
Nanadating lang. Dati sa eulogy.
Chronological.
He disagreed over the removal of the U.S. bases. After all, Central Luzon was going to be severely affected. And after all,
Tito Josie, are
we
you
got
joining our KK this
by a
year?
cataclysmic eruption of Mount Pinatubo the year before. He took the decision immediately in the removal of bases, but in 1991, while the Senate was trying to pass on second reading the Basis Conversion Development Act, I and my people and my wife went to Congress and sought him out. He understood us right away, understood the severity of our people's plight. Pinatubo had devastated us. Clarkfield was looted. Our economy teacher, I went to him and said, our people's rice bowls are basa po na nakapagkainan namin. And they've been broken. We're suffering. Sure, I said, do you remember the vision I shared with you, administered my office at Mayor Colombo? And I said, we must make the report real. Despite the deal being late in the process, he acted swiftly. He spoke with Senator Shahani, Senator Andara, Senate President Joey Salonga, who finally said, we remove the bases. We must now have the people who board the cost. Tens of thousands.
Puro eh. Kaya sinira ko eh. Hindi, nakamulutaw na ako ng korte. Dami ko na ako siguro ito.
Ay! Napulog mo lang ba yan? Seryoso. Buwan na kaya yan.
Huwag kang magugulat. Huwag kang magugulat. Pero sa puso mo, kakabulin mo lang at palatabasin mo yung tunay na. You want possibly.
Tapon mo yan.
People will debate this letters. Ganyan tayo mga Pilipinos. As they should. Mag-debate na kayo hanggang gusto ninyo.
Ano daw?
Anyone who stands at the heart of power for decades. Nasa gitna siya. Tumala siya. Through storms,
Piso.
transitions, and crises, will face both admiration and severe criticism. Yet he lived with contradictions, shouldered impossible expectations, and made decisions others feared to make. Few men have carried such burdens for so long. Antindi. Talagang naninindig. Minumura ka naman tayo, pero talagang may paninindigan. And one thing I must tell you, he never fled the country. Inaatake siya ng tanan. Hindi siya nagpakita na wheelchair. Hindi siya nagpakita na natatakot. Hindi siya umalis, sinarap niya ang mga nanunulit siya at lumabas yung tunay na pagkatao niya. Yet beyond politics there were lighter days, birthdays, celebrations, and long talks about where the Philippines should go. Even out in the Senate, years our conversations continue. I don't know if Katrina remembers.
Dalawa ka tayo.
Salamat sa kanya.
I visited him in the hospital and I asked all the people, parang standing room orchestra yung kanyang hospital room. I said, lumabas na kayo lahat dyan. Ako si Dr. Gordon ng Red Cross. Baka makahawa pa kayo dyan at makasama pa kayo. And indeed they did. This time I went to the condo, and what was he doing? He was in the dark, with a little light, with a computer, with a big magnifying glass, and he was reading. Reading was something that he never forsook. But I can tell you, pinagalitan pa ako nagbabasa ka ba? And I remember some of the books he recommended to me, and I looked for it in my library last night. the accidental superpower, America, and is looking at what was happening in the West Philippine Sea, and was in fact tutoring me about what was going to happen in the future in this part of the world. Before he passed, and before I do that, I sat beside him somewhere here for a long time. And it never ceased to amaze me what the man was capable of. Di ba, lumilipad, naging persistence. So this man was memorizing the Rubaya of Omar Khayyam. Ano, kung maintindihan siya nito sa video. Maintindihan niya, no? But believe you me, I read the telegram. Eh, parang hilo. Ang haba, no? But he was memorizing. He was not to be senile, not to be cared for. He was practicing his mind all the time.
Five, six, ano ba yan? Five, eight, eh. Ang kabit na. Pagkubat din. Hindi na po ako kaya makamot ako. Tatlo.
I never meant to.
Ocho to.
Remember him in full. In my days, studying philosophy in my alma mater, I remember what one of our professors would say, reality manifests itself in profiles. Profiles. And now ito ito makikita mo profile, tomorrow ito, the next day ito. To the nation, I say remember him in full. Not as a single headline or chapter, but as a man who rose from poverty, navigated impossible paths, wrestled with contradictions, endured controversies, and through it all, a mind of uncommon brilliance and a spirit of exceptional will. Love and serve his country as he could, to the last breath of his body. I know that for a fact. May not agree with it? Take my word for it. That is what he is. Our paths are not always aligned. Pati kami nag-aaway kung saan you always end up beautifully. But they converge whenever duty and principle called in. In those moments we found friendship, respect, something that we've lost in this country. Respect. And shared purpose. Again, something that we should remind ourselves of. Shared visions, shared struggles, shared victories. One person really lived an extraordinarily long life. Sabi nila 101, sabi nila 104. Long in service, long in struggle, long in influence, and long in the memories of our people. Challenges that would have broken lesser men only made him stand firmer. Today I bid farewell to the man I knew as a father, if I may, a mentor, a friend, a fighter, a thinker, and one of the most indomitable forces in our nation's political history. May he rest in the peace he earned across a lifetime of service and sacrifice. I'm sure you'll be happy with him. Our Lord in heaven. Thank you all very much.
Ba? Si Aroy ba? Hindi na nakaupo sa wheelchair ah.
Oo, wala na lang leg eh. Boss. Wala na ako sa leg.
My condolences.
Ba, maganda siya
Senate
yun.
President Soto,
Lalo sa
honorable
tumataan.
senators, ladies and gentlemen.
Saan natin nakita yan?
One person
Presidente kami ng Philippines. Hindi nga saan natin nakita sa
as one of the most awe-inspiring political figures of our time. Truly a legend in his own life.
Hindi ba nung iba yun?
As the formidable Secretary of Defense during
Good night.
But
Good night.
beyond that legend, the sheer force of
Good night, ulit!
political skill and
Isa lang, kahit ano.
Kami
naman.
of our era sometimes intimidating, but always respected by friend and foe alike for his unsurpassed brilliance. Beyond his public achievements, Manong Johnny combined intellect with personal loyalty and kindness. My family remembers this well. And so of the 5 minutes I was given to make
Lampak kita. Oh, lampak, lampak. Yung kasi, 5 lang. Ay, lampak, lampak. Nalampak.
Ano rin ang mo?
Tuisip, ng ano to eh. So, at saka
because he could no longer
hindi nga eh. Parang mas umagat ka ngayon eh. Kasi yung dating, ano siya, di ba? Ba't hindi rin? Ano na?
So for the family of my son, he asked to be grandfather in a role that he formally accepted. But many years later, I was executive director of the Garment and Textile Export Board and found myself colliding with powerful interests. A Senate hearing was convened against me. And in that hearing, Senator Enrile declared, Lawyer Macapagal Arroyo is like Caesar's wife. She is not only without sin, she also appears without sin. Oh, that made my day and helped my career. We were senators together in the 10th Congress, and I had a chance to marvel at his mastery, especially when he sponsored the comprehensive tax reform of 1997. When I was president, he sponsored the Human Security Act of 2007, something which our country needed to address the threat of terrorism to the national security of the country. I was still president when Senator Enrile became Senate President Enrile. Under his leadership, the Senate passed many measures, a lot of them really important to my administration. May I just mention a few of them? The Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program Extension Act, the Expanded Senior Citizens Act, and the Real Estate Investment Act for social reform as well as for improving the investment climate. In the aftermath of the Maguindanao massacre, he was in Malacanang Palace, working late into the night, helping me craft my proclamation of martial law in Maguindanao. Manong Johnny lived many lives in one lifetime. Successful lawyer, bank chairman, insurance commissioner, customs commissioner, finance secretary, justice secretary,
Wala siya, ano.
secretary,
Just na lang, eh. Tinapon niya
also
man.
member, congressman, senator. You Filipinos have served in so many
Right? Or 8, 9.
Into his twilight years. After this period, Manong Johnny was Enrile, Secretary, Senate President. We remember not only the name that he became, but also for my person and my family, man's loyalty, depth, and humanity behind the legend. His imprint in our nation and the lives he touched will endure. May a grateful nation remember him with respect and appreciation. Manong Johnny, rest in peace and thank you.
Ito na. Hindi. Saan kaya yan kailangan? Ano bang baba na naman? Ha?
Exercise niya yan eh.
Gano?
Check baba.
Naririnig ka ba? Ang bilis pa niyang bumaba. O, doon pa sisiksik.
The Honorable Erwin Toothform will deliver his eulogy. To Miss Katrina and the entire Montenegro clan, former President Arroyo, Senate President Vicente Soto, colleagues, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. We gather
Good. Ay,
Some extras cover looks clear on paper until you go to make a claim. That's why AHM Black Extras offer a consistent percentage back on most extras up to your annual limits. With AHM, you're good.
oh, gag. Verde. Ayan, ito puro bonbon. Ay,
today in solemn remembrance of one Ponce Enrique, statesman whose long and storied career left a profound imprint on our nation. As former defense secretary, former Senate president,
Hindi makakuha.
former presidential
hindi
chief
din ako
legal advisor,
makakuha.
he embodied a level of service, discipline, and intellectual wisdom
Namuro ka lang
that
po
few
po.
public office ever attained. His passing marks the end of an era, one shaped by steady hand, his remarkable memory, and his unparalleled understanding of the laws and institutions that anchor our republic to this day. I speak today not only in my public capacity, but also as someone who deeply admired him. His counsel, though often through science, carried the weight of decades of experience. About a month before he departed, I had the privilege of visiting him in his home. I went there seeking guidance, earnestly desiring insight on how to become an effective legislator, how to navigate the responsibilities of public office, and how to serve with both conviction and humility.
Hindi na waiting pa nila.
Wala po siya sa is.
Saan ka napunta? Back to back ka no? Nandito back 6 na kanal ka.
Single ako na yung ano.
Ayun.
Single ako ng ano. So pa. Wala. Hindi na po rin. Wala. Malit na yung kanila ko. Lalo makasama ko.
Doctor, oh.
Wala na.
But for those of us
96.
who are fortunate enough to learn from him directly, He will also be remembered for his generosity of wisdom and the steadiness of his presence. As we
Sinay.
bid him farewell, may we honor his memory by holding the values he exemplified: dedication to service, clarity of purpose, and
Pangit
steadfast
ba?
commitment to the nation. May he rest in peace, and may his legacy continue to guide us in the work he leaves behind. Rest well, Sir Johnny and Rita, and thank you for your service, sir.
Ang galing mga niya, urology nga.
The Honorable Robin Padilla.
Grabe, salita.
Sasalita si Rubin.
Ano yung senador din ba yun? Number 1 siya yung senador ka.
Tumatao po ta.
Alhamdulillah, ang ginawa namin.
Ay, alam mo naman.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ba, Muslimi?
Sa pupugay po at pagsaludo sa bayan
Parang tumanda siya.
Pilipinas, 1 and Gilid. At aking pong pakikiramay
Ang sama Muslim niya. Ano.
ibang Katrina
Ang Muslim ba yan?
at pakikiisa po sa aming ginawang pagkakaroon sa Tito Soto at sa aming pong dating Pangulo, doon ang mga pagkakamuyo at sa lahat po ng mga senador at sa mga naging senador. Mga mahal pong kabayan, sa maiksing panahon po, ako po ay nagkaroon ng personal na karanasan sa ating bayan. Ito po yung panahon na ako po ay naging senador. Naalala ko pa po noong panahon na kami po ay nakakapasok pa sa Malacanang. Ako po ay kanyang tinatawag. Ako po ay lagi nasa gilid-gilid lang.
So, gilid-gilid.
Pero noong panahon ngayon, ako po ay pinahanap sa kanyang aid.
Makapatong.
Nagulat po ako. Ang sabi ng aid niya, nakatawag ka. Hindi. Natakot po ako. Sabi ko, bakit kaya? Ako po'y pumunta, siya po'y nakaupo sa gilid. Meron po siyang magandang pwesto sa tabi ng pintuan. Pinaupo po niya ako. Sabi niya, meron ka mga pangukala. Opo, alin po doon. Gusto kitang makausap. Ngayon po ba? Huwag dito maingay. Sabi niya. Pupuntaan mo ko sa bahay. Lalo po ako natakot. Sa bahay niyo po. O kailangan tayong mag-usap. Nung pagkatapos po ng ilang araw, dumating po ako sa kanyang bahay.
Nakulo kong baraha ito.
At doon po, nagulat po ako, lahat po ng paborito kong kakanin. Yun po ang kanyang hito. Isa po ako dahil nagtatanong po siya siguro sa aking mga kasama kung ano po yung aking paborito.
Aba, ano ba yan?
Nagwapo na po kami. Sabi niya, ano ba yung mga panukala mo? Sabi ko, meron po akong Senate Bill 45. Ito po yung gusto ko po sanang gawing holiday, yung po September 21, at kilalanin yung mga ansang hero. Sumunod po ang kanyang loob.
Ano daw kung matang mo?
Para sa akin, ang paliwanag. Sabi ko sa kanya, hindi po, ako po ay dating komunista. At hanggang ngayon ay sosyalista. Ako po ay namundo. At naiintindihan ko po kung ano ang isinaglaban ng
Lumudas niya.
September 21.
Lumudas pa eh.
Ako po ay naniniwala.
Oh, hi. Kasabalan natin.
Para kami po ay
Hindi ko lang.
kahaba ako ng ang sabi niya po sa akin,
Wait lang, ikaw. Wait lang.
Ah, basta ako.
Wait lang tayo. Discounted ko.
Discounted.
Yes,
Eh, baby ko rin naman ito.
Kunin ka.
Kumaha ka na.
pero hindi
Para akong din. Ay,
ang pagpasok ng
na,
mga
dalawa.
ang magsasagip sa ekonomiya ng Pilipinas. At papabalik sa parliamentary system ang kailangan ng Pilipinas. Alam niyo po, hindi po ang bigo. Sa pagkakulutin po ang hiling namin, siya po ang nag-iisa kong witness. At sa loob po ng 2 oras, wala kitang pinaliwanag kung hindi na nagdaan ang papatukin natin ang ating mga foreign investor. At hindi lang po yun. Pagkatapos po niya pag-witness sa akin, yung kanya pong 99th birthday,
Sige, dito ka na.
tapos na po. Hindi po personal po niya po ako ginawakan at sinabi niya kailangan kang dumating sa birthday ko. Dahil meron tayong pangako na hindi ka titigil na maipasa yung pinangako mo sa aking panukala. Yan po ang aking hindi makakalimutan.
ang naglalakad na library sa kasaysayan. Hindi po siya nakabilang sa mga nang maliit sa akin. Maraming salamat po. Mabuhay po kayo.
Hindi na siya nag-arko ng artista, no?
Si Lito lang ba yun?
Oh, si, ano naman, Jimmy Goy.
Ah, puta.
Yung mga ano na yan, yung mga bata mga yan.
Oh, bata ni Lily.
Oo, ang laki ng mukha na. Jinggoy.
Joseph Estrada and former First Lady Senator Gloria Estrada. I'd like to express our deepest condolences to the family of my mentor, Juan Ponce Enrile. Former President Gloria Bacalan-Arroyo, Senate President Tito Soto, my colleagues in the Senate, former colleagues in the Senate, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am fortunate to have received from my Creator a longer time here on earth, but longevity, not immortality. Those were the very words uttered by Juan Valentin Forganan, better known to the nation as Juan Ponce Enrile, JPE, or to us who are privileged to be close to him, simply Manong Johnny. Beyond the means that attempted to carry the long, storied life of one of the most consequential political figures in recent history is a man who was, in truth, larger than life. And I am fortunate not only to have worked alongside him in the halls of this august chamber, but to have been mentored by him and given the rare chance to know him up close. Hindi kaila sa publiko ang pagiging malapit niya sa aming pamilya bago pa man kami nagkasama dito sa Senado. Makailang ulit nang ipinamalas ang pagpapalaga niya sa amin, pero lalo na po sa aking ama. I can never forget him, nor repay him for this
Sa akin naman.
extraordinary act of kindness. Even in his
Ano
memory.
ba itsura ni Joseph
How
niya?
my father insisted on accompanying him in the post on the way to
Kailangan ko na,
the
ano kaya itsura na ngayon? Nila, kay Joseph. Si Joseph, ano ba itsura na yun?
Manny Johnny was safe from harm and spared from further humiliation by a media crowd eager to capture his fingerprinting and mugshots. Yet, he did repay my father many, many times over, and that profound expression of gratitude extended even to us, his children. Kung noon ay namayan
Ano ba ito nakukuha ng yun? Wala nang inakyat.
nung ako at ang aking magulang inaresto at ikinuli. Isa siya sa mga kaibigang nagpatunay at tumupad sa mga salitang walang iwanan. In the final hours, leading up to my father's departure from Malacanang, ours marked by emotional farewells and deep political uncertainty, one person stood out and gave a crucial piece of advice. Amid the further discussions and on the eve of our eventual leaving from the palace, Manong Johnny met them and told my father to remain strong, especially for our family. He then whispered and advised my father not to sign anything else, except they prepared a full statement which he had carefully reviewed and approved, as anything else requested
Dito sa bila.
as a resignation. That's short, but emphatic concept proved vital, and it was one of the pillars upon which my father stood to show the nation that he was committed to the cause, that his
Dami
departure
naman yan
from
to.
Malacanang
Sabi
was
ko ito.
not for the reason to show no bloodshed. When
Ay,
the Lord administration
Walang kinuha.
Ito rin eh.
asked to help, he agreed,
Ano
but with
ano?
one clear condition, that he would never abandon my father, whom he considered as a dear friend. Sinabi niya, tutulong ako
Ito sa
kung
Ayun.
ano ang kaya ko para sa ating bansa. Huwag niyo ako palayo yung pera. Mas kailangan niya ako yan. That was Manong Johnny, the true
Salamat.
and faithful friend.
Wala ko ba inaabangan?
Sa huling pagkakataon, nung ako naman ang kailangan
Ganun ba?
sa
Ay,
facilities
Pero wala makatay
at
dito.
mahigit isang
Walang
dekada
welcome
na
na.
nakalipas,
Sukat hindi ka dumarating.
nasalamahan po ako ng Manong. But levity aside, words are not enough.
Trust the superior standard will be pressed on in just one step.
It's all too hard. Never forget with repeat deliveries from Smile. Too easy. Smile, too easy question. Too easy. 18, it's
Ay,
perfect.
ano ka ba? Kasi naman. Buti na tinapin yung trigo.
Sa split log ito, oh. Ay, ano ba yan? Puro lumampas lang.
Ano ka ba? Teka po.
Unlock $1,000 worth of Black Friday value on
Ano
Android.
kita? Ano naman ba?
Beat Yoto, the screen-free, app-free audio player.
Ano ba yan?
And fatherly affection shown to me.
Siguro wala na rin ito. Ayun na.
The very first thing he did after the Supreme Court granted him bail in 2015 and ordered his release from hospital detention was to visit
Nabon.
and Senator Bobby.
Ochag?
Hinihingi.
Ah, talaga.
16.
Seven.
The Senate
Eight.
reporters once asked if the decision was everything, he simply said,
Yung eskalera ko, wala akong 5 volts eh. Kaya kung kuhanin mo yung ilog ko kung wala ko. Ah, ito. Boy, ang gulo. Wala, diba? Pagka, ito po.
Ito na ating ano.
16.
Isa ako sa makapagpatuloy, lalo na ang makiresis mula wala akong sasinabi. Medyo kayo patuloy ng tao. The Senate is not an institution for learning, not a classroom or a venue for teaching, but a constitutional body tasked with making weighty political and legal decisions. That is why a senator, whether veteran or neophyte, must always come prepared. That is one of the teachings imparted to me by Manong John. One of the of this day.
Pwede kali.
So when he was lecturing about the senator,
Nine.
a neophyte senator, Senator Lau,
Nagbayad na kali.
by saying, Mr. President, di po ba sabi niyo, problema mo sa loob ko? Eh, na problema ko, hindi ko maintindihan, bago po ko dito. Yun po sinabi ni Senator Lapid. Kaya mga po ko nagpapaturo sa inyo. After enveloped the session hall, and right there and then, Manong John and Senator Lapid became very, very good friends. So whenever I had any questions or misgivings, I never hesitated to seek advice from one of the most brilliant minds in this chamber. And he was always willing to share his thoughts. He was both a gentleman and a statesman par excellence. When he was about to be sworn as Senate President in November 2008, some colleagues urged him not to allow the then Senate President to resign, instead force him out. Manong Johnny did not budge. He stood his ground and said they should leave it to him how he wished to treat the thing. And if they disagreed, he was prepared to forget about the change in the leadership. Such was the gentleness and character of Manong as a friend and colleague. A side of him that not many have had in himself. To most people, former Senate President Evile will be remembered as a central political figure who served under 8 presidents across more than 6 decades. The central figure in many political times and political upheavals this nation has witnessed. But to me, Manong Johnny is and will always be nothing less than family. Manong Johnny is irrepressible, irreplaceable, and incomparable. A very, very tough act to follow. Kahit sa puso ng mga empleyado natin dito sa Senado, ang kanyang kakaibang pagkalina sa kapakanan ng maliliit na kawani ay hindi nila
Oo,
makakalimutan.
magka.
Isa siyang tunay na alamat. And to his family, Aunt Christina, his children Jack and Katrina, and his grandchildren, we are all grateful for your generosity in supporting Manong Johnny throughout all seasons of his colorful and challenging political career, even at the great cost of time away from all of you. And as we bid you farewell, I find comfort in his words. Words that reveal the heart of the man behind the public figure, captured so eloquently in the closing lines of his memoir. To have been able to serve my country for all these decades of trials and uncertainty, and to have enjoyed the sweet and simple joys of a long and productive life is the best reward of all. Not from ourselves, but never from our hearts. Maraming salamat. Hindi ko makakalimutan.
The Honorable Joseph Victor Ejercito will now deliver his speech.
Makakapasok.
Sa pamilya
Eh, ang dami oh.
JB naman.
sa buong pamilya kaibigan, sa ating pong Senate President Soto, sa ating pong former President Lloyd Macron, sa ating pong kasamahan, sa pong magandang umaga sa inyo lahat.
Sino yan?
JB.
Na nagsalita
Ah, yung kapatid ni ano din.
ang ginagawa ni Manong John, hindi po nakatayo.
Kapatid ni...
Ang hindi pwedeng
Jingle.
dahil ako po ay paglakad ko rito, ang mga katulog ko, sinilin ko sa Santiago, pag-grilon, nasabi ko, naku, mukhang ibang medyo talaga, kaya ko ba ito? Tama ba ang pwesto ko? Pinasukan. Ano pa upo na ako? Yung first second day, ang katabi ko naman, si Juan Paul Cindy. Dahil ang kaibigan ko.
Napalit lang kayo.
Sa halip na ako,
Oo, doon na ako.
Ang Israel na po natin. Ako ba yun? Ito kay klase. Bakit nilagilay? Kami daw. Yung mga
Dali. Tinatawag ka ni ate ah.
ito ba akin? Siguro. Kanina to? Akin. Hindi, tinignan natin si Olive.
Ay, garlic carpet.
Si Olive eh. Gusto ko po.
Next
Si Olive. Tama. Kapansin.
slip.
Islit.
Go up, go up.
Okay, okay.
Dos.
matinding away nila, hindi nagiging si Senator Santiago. Kinakabahan ako, baka mabato yung baso. Ganun kagalit, matinding away nila yung panahon na yun. But Manny Johnny would maintain his composure, looking at his iPad and looking at Senator Santiago, and flashing that famous simple smile of his. Napaka-cool ni Manny Johnny. At I remember also those times that the most difficult times in our lives, he was always there to provide comfort, just like a father to all of us. Hindi po nalilimutan. Sa akin lahat ng laban, kahit marami pong hindi tayo medyo mabigat ang laban, sa nung huli, nagkakalubo po kami sa somewhere in Bicol, yung motorcade ko dahil ako po independent, nag-iisa, na iniikot, nakasunod ko po yung convoy niya at kilala ko yung sasakyan, iniikot po kami,
Yan po.
bumaba rin po siya ng sasakyan, and he hugged me. Sabi ko, Manny Johnny, mahirap ang laban ko. Sabi niya, magpapagawa na ng pag-asa.
Ituro ako tapos ako.
Kaya mo lang mo yan. At nandito ako para sumuport sa iyo.
Wala back to back.
Ako yung natuwa na ako yung pagkakataon na makasama.
Ilan yung dalawa? Ikaw na naman.
Ilan ba ito?
Ikaw mano eh.
Ako ba?
Ikaw ang kukuha. Ako huli. Ako huli. 1 daw dun. Ha?
Lalo magsasalita.
Pinaltan yung gwardiya.
Oo, nagtanong ba dyan, ha?
Baka magsasalita pa rin si Kwan. Lakson.
Sino? Si Lacson.
Baka magsalita.
Kita mo si Soto, oh. Pati na rin lahat ang buhok.
Buti ang buhok niya, bigote niya itim. Dito.
The majority leader, Honorable Juan Yazuli, will now deliver his speech.
Ang kalawin. Yan, yan. Yan, yan, yan. 4, 6, 8, 10, 12.
Dito Soto, magkakita ko rin yun.
It is hard to believe that there
Ibig
are
sabihin,
the former Senate President, one president in the history of
Hindi ko maano, hindi ko mamunod. Ikaw na, ikaw na. Oh, tapos ko ito.
It was most likely imagination to leave, but it will leave us all in the ground forever. As a matter of fact, he probably was the oldest secretary ever to hold office. I think the Guinness Book of World Records should be that.
Ano ba kasi dito yan?
Di ba ako nagbigay na ako?
To receive or celebrate
Ako nagbigay na ako.
for his life's work. He was over 100 years old.
Sino na? Siya.
But his mind was as
Tapos
sharp
ko subo.
as ever, and he gave a insightful and inspiring message of gratitude.
Tapos ka na ba? Oh, dyan.
No preparation, and it was a moment to
Hindi pa siya nakabunot. Hindi pa rin.
listen to him give his
Hindi
Hindi pa.
1 year later, here we are.
Sino yung sasalita mo ngayon?
One last
Subiri.
time
Ah, si
for the
Subiri.
singularly brilliant man. Manong Johnny was, with no exaggeration, a giant among us. We learn our history, he lived it.
Pong,
Shaped it even.
Ano yun, Mac? Mac?
Mitch,
Amin.
Subiri.
Revolution. He was never one to sit and watch history unfold as he turned the pages himself. It is hard to imagine that this country would look like
Ang bilis ah.
Hindi pa sabi ko.
Pagdating na mag-support the film. 6 na eh.
Ang pera lang ako ah.